All right, what's up, YouTube? We're back another reaction this time to Marvel Studios Assembled. Doctor Strange this time too. And I know we talked about the movie kind of a bit in the past, but you know, is there anything you're looking to see from this movie? Like,
well, I guess it'll show you how they did all the stunts and everything, and
yeah,
they'll do interviews. See how it goes.
Yeah, I think these are always pretty interesting to see behind the scenes and all of that. So
I think I'm hoping to see like some of the guys that were in the cameos, like Haley Atwell, Captain Carter, even John Krasinski. He got fucking violated in that movie.
Did, yeah.
So bad.
We don't talk about that.
So bad. And I know this movie actually got kind of like a lot of flack. Obviously, like a lot of people didn't really like it so much. I could see why, like in terms of like the multiverse not being. I think could have been utilized more.
Could have been utilized a lot more. I think it was. I think a big part of it is also labeled as Doctor Strange movie, but in reality, it's more like a Wanda movie.
Yeah, it kind of felt like that. Yeah. Think about it.
Well, I was like, it was like a plot twist when.
Oh, of course, yeah. That was like I think the biggest thing about the movie is like, especially for me and him too. Like I remember he was saying, "Wait, what?" Like I was like, "Yeah, man." Like,
I didn't expect that at all. Cause they didn't hint toward that at all. But it'll be interesting what we see this time. The Moon Knight one was really good. I'll have it down in the description if you're interested in watching that one. But with that, might as well start and let's see if we learned something new. Of course.
Dr. Stephen Strange.
What's his name?
Fuck is this guy?
What's his name? You ever watched the Evil Dead movies? He's like the main character.
Maybe.
You might even say his hands betrayed him. And I can relate. If you catch my drift. Anyway, this strange guy couldn't cut it in the operating room anymore. So what did he do? Run home and cry to mama? No siree, Bob.
No
Pick
siree,
himself
Bob.
up and train to be some kind of fancy pants wizard, complete with a kooky cape and a groovy goatee.
Just making fun of him.
They still call him a doctor. Know why? Because now he's a doctor of kicking butt and taking names. Strange has mopped the floor with cosmic conquerors, bad titans, and guys with really bad complexions. Enough with the Cliff Notes recap already. These days, Strange is up to his medallion-wearing neck in psychedelic scary sauce. And that is what we're here to talk about. I'm Bruce Campbell, and I'll be your host as we journey beyond the confines of our own humdrum reality and see what's really cooking in the multiverse of madness.
That was gold. I like that. Yeah, that was awesome.
That was good.
I was a big fan of the first one. I thought that
he did the OG Spider-Man.
Yeah, he did the first one. Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch delivered an incredible performance. So when that offer came in, I thought, okay, it's been a long time since I made a superhero movie. I wonder if I could still do it. And that alone was.
I mean, the money was also part of it.
Yeah.
Same reason.
Not gonna say it all right.
Godfathers of the MCU, if you think about it, with the Spider-Man trilogy, to get to work with Sam is a dream come true, not just for me, but for most of the people on this set.
That guy's movies are part of the reason I became a writer. So to have Sam Raimi come in a room and sit across from you and be like, "All right, kid, what's the movie?" Man, it's really a case of like meet your heroes.
I was a very junior part of the creative team on his original Spider-Man films, and now working so closely with who would have guessed that nearly 20 years later, Sam Raimi will be working on a Doctor Strange movie for us.
Set in a world where literally anything goes, how do you even begin to begin?
Yes, it's
like a poet.
A maddening job that can make you go insane trying to figure all this stuff out, but it's a lot of fun.
Telling the story of the multiverse was such a gigantic endeavor to not only paint an accurate picture of our universe, but of another, and another, and another.
Michael did a Herculean job with this project, in my humble opinion. He had all the history of Marvel that he had to work into this.
Right.
How he managed to balance all of that, I think, was extraordinary.
And action.
If you think about it, like the actors, like do nothing compared to the others. So.
Oh yeah.
The others have to do everything.
That was a good scene.
What's interesting in a story about the multiverse is exploring the other ways that things could have played out.
That's why I like the
especially
Vance,
interesting with the
point out
character
a lot
we
of
saw at
things
one
you
point sit with his head going in a million different directions, watching 14 million different outcomes in his particular universe.
Getting to work on a Doctor Strange sequel was really exciting because the first movie really blew open the doors of the MCU in ways that you couldn't even imagine.
To become this great sorcerer and savior of the universe.
I felt, I guess, as much as the audience and the fans did, that this extraordinary character seemed to be sort of all powerful and perfect. I wanted to know what it was about him, how he got there as much as anything else. I'm sorry. It's quite an emotional place that he's in at the beginning. That he's sort of slungshot into this adventure.
Oh yeah.
Let's transition between the
giant monstrous octopus has attacked New York. It's bad news.
New York's always getting fucked up. How's it still standing?
I know, man.
All these movies, dude.
This is weird.
Oh, this eye thing,
Strange
yeah.
Meets America Chavez.
The octopus.
Amazed with all these jackets. There's so much detail. I don't think you'll ever see it, but there's a bunch of poetry and just the way the star
That's crazy.
is designed.
You don't even notice that in the movie.
Yeah.
Had like 100 other versions of Mexican sort of folkloric art and Day of the Dead references that could be part of a kind of emblem on the back of the jacket. But
That's
I'm
amazing.
really happy that we went with the star. In the street scenes that we've shot with her running, you see this white star going down the street, and it's really good sort of focus point.
I wish more people noticed that shit.
It was fantastic working with Sochi. I think she's probably going to be one of the youngest actors in the MCU, and it can be quite scary, you know what I mean? It was scary.
Bro, his last name's Wong?
Yeah.
You
never knew that?
You
never knew that? Found that out now?
I fucking
That's
love
why they
that,
call
dude.
him Wong, bro.
I didn't know.
Knowing that I have it,
Oh, that's such a good laugh.
it's a huge responsibility to originate a character, a superhero. It's crazy. It's it's really like, oh my goodness.
It's good to kind of lift off the pressure with that. We always have a bit of music on
TikTok.
set.
Oh,
and
God.
she's big into-
Was it Millie Bobby Brown doing that with the straight legs?
She's trying to teach me some moves, but I think I pulled a muscle.
Leonard Wong, I mean,
God.
he is amazing. He carries this.
But every time she's triggered by fear, a portal opens into another universe.
Yeah.
Working with America Chavez, we had many different
I think she was one of the better parts of the
the
film,
character.
too.
I think
Yeah.
that's
Better what?
all of them.
She was one of the better,
So
like,
I
the
got
character
to
was one of the better
work with
parts of the film,
character.
I think.
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't expect her either.
What was
Yeah.
We didn't see her in the trailer, right?
fascinating about America
No,
Chavez
you saw her.
to me
You
was
see her in
just
the trailer.
that her
Not much, though,
a
right?
sense of loneliness, that she didn't have a family, she didn't have friends, she didn't even have a reality.
That was a big change that I made,
Oh.
and I had a strong perspective on making her a villain from the get-go. It was always like,
It was a
well, I
bold,
don't have
bold
an Avengers
choice.
movie or something.
Definitely
My
a shock. Like you
perspective
said.
was, why are we letting some other movie get the best villain ever?
She looks fucking good in that costume.
I know, for real.
Playing people with moral ambiguity.
Her sacrifice would be for the greater good.
She is one of the most.
She was such a good villain too because you
That's ever
feel her
I
reasoning. Like,
You kind of get how she's
Does that
Yeah.
mean
like
that
the
she
mother's
now
instinct.
has to
like
settle
in like
for
some
this
part of you
good?
get like
Yeah.
would
She
understands why.
wants something that
Yeah.
seems so simple
I think
and
the best
small
villains.
Things you do for your
kids.
things you do for your kids.
Yeah, exactly.
We've seen
Well,
The
her
best
fake
villains
kids.
have, like,
Yeah.
the best villains always
Original
have,
Vision
like, reasons
only
that
have Thanos
seem logical.
seem
rewind
logical
those
but are
rest of the
stretched.
Time stone,
Yeah.
the time stone he got from Doctor
Exactly.
Strange, so that Wanda's sacrifice was for nothing. She's given up a lot, and from her perspective, all she wants is one life. She wants America Chavez. She wants to take her power.
Villain, but somebody who you really loved and could relate to.
You break the rules and become a hero. I do it and I become the
I
hero.
love that line. That line's good.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem fair.
So beautiful. But that was great.
That was a constant thing for Sam Raimi and I. I've had so much fun playing off of his ideas, and I think he and I really relish in this character, and we've been enjoying how delicious it is to justify some of the things she does in the movie.
I love that there's a little bit of dread of what would happen if she were called.
All that stuff now is fun. You just blew it.
Exactly.
All these things were very different.
You're stirring her.
My fault.
I agree. It's not.
I like how you say that.
That's just one of the things Marvel does so well and better than anyone is that their villains.
Is that Rachel?
You
Rachel
find
McAdams,
yourself
yes.
siding with them. At
She came in the
times.
garden foods, you
You're
said,
like,
right?
wait,
Years
She
ago.
did, yeah.
you're-
Years ago.
Well, they have a really good point.
Really?
Thanos
You could
has
tell
a-
she was like trying to be
has a really good
incognito
point.
and everything.
So,
Yeah.
I feel like
Right, she lives
they
around here.
built that with Wanda
Canadian,
so
right?
well,
Wow.
where
From Oakville,
you just
right?
feel for her.
Somewhere.
and
She's got some property
struggle.
somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just a very filled out character. that I think makes you feel a lot of complicated things. Those are always the best villains.
We have a particularly big sequence where Wanda, she's coming to attack Camotage.
Oh yeah, she breaks the shield. Yeah.
In terms of shot count, it's huge. That scene was shot on 3 different stages.
We're here on a series stage.
Remember, she used her mind to fuck with one of them, grabs a rift. Yeah.
That was a good scene.
So good.
Gets in their mind.
Some gruesome deaths. Remember this?
Yeah.
Like cutting people.
No, we have one rooftop here. It has to play as 3 different rooftops on Camotage that are all oriented differently. And so one of the tricks is not only figuring out on any given day who's supposed to be on that rooftop and how it's dressed and what sort of damage is there, but also where the lighting comes from. Wanda is flying around, so she starts off on the approach and there's a little bit of a standoff. After that, Wanda starts to do an attack and she starts to fly all the way around looking for weak points inside this collective force field.
We've called this the striking run. It's kind of like what you'd picture if you were in a jet fighter. It's coming around banking and just boom, 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 stuff flying in your face.
It's got to be practical, right?
Charlie did all of the design for Camotage. That 3D model was then handed off to Proof, the previous company that revised Camotage sequence.
I don't know how they do this shit.
To help us visualize that
My brain hurts.
And that allows us to sort of temporarily position ourselves on set.
I've seen it in the past 5 years develop from this big virtual camera, whole crew, whole expensive setup that takes days and weeks to do, whereas now it's on an iPad, it's in your back pocket essentially. Any characters or props we can bring in with animation and virtually see where it is, so it's a great tool on set when we need to look up and see a monster or an explosion.
One of the other things we have to really plan for is special effects. A lot of planning going into from the previs where certain explosions will happen inside the floors of Camotage.
Oh. Holy shit. So they actually go flying.
Explosions, some fireballs, some ground hits where the ground is erupting, total mayhem.
Extremely wire intense film, so we've got 2 separate rigging teams that are working on different sequences pretty much full time. I've been a part of 5 other films before this, and this is the most wire intensive one I've been a part of.
There's so many wires.
The audience and the actors and the studio really like to see
Look how chilly it is.
like doing their own stunts, so
casually.
we facilitate that. We had Strange fly in around this corner starting about 30 feet. He probably flew about 80 feet down and around the street, and we land him right in the middle of the street and he starts his action. The whole point was to show him a really small figure and to land right in front of camera, 1.5 feet away from it, on a cue. So they're computerized and they're all rehearsed, and that just allows us to get selfish and use Benedict's face as much as we can.
So I just got off the wires, and I'm not gonna lie, they're really scary.
Sochi's been really great. She's got a great work ethic. She really wants to rehearse and do lots of her own stunts. Unfortunately, she is a minor, so we can only allow her to go so far.
That was good. I think we got the master we need.
Secret society.
This guy, dude. Narrator.
Think they're real? Well, think again, pal. Ever heard of the Freemasons or the Knights Templar? How about the 10 Rings or Hydra? Okay, maybe those last 2 things aren't real, but I know you've heard of them because you're wearing Captain America underpants. The point is, I'm willing to roll with the idea of some clandestine organization running the whole show from behind the proverbial curtain. Just don't tell me that those folks are riding around in yellow hover chairs and throwing vibranium frisbees painted like Union Jacks. Don't tell me that.
This guy's calm. Oh, they're gonna show us.
I really hope they interview Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, him too.
We've wanted to introduce in our movies for years.
Stephen Strange. You are now called before the Illuminati.
The Illuminati?
Doctor Strange and America Chavez find themselves in another version of our reality.
Alternate Peggy Carter.
Captain Carter.
That was cool.
The serum. That's awesome. Haley Atwell's obviously somebody that the fans love.
Great. I loved every bit of that. Badass. That's what the kids want to see.
As I understand it, the whole thing came out of What If animation. So
well, she was in What If, right?
She was the first episode. Kind of cheesy, that episode.
References, so First Avenger and then Ultron, along with Ryan's illustration, which sort of captures the What If vintage.
Did you guys like that? Her being like that?
Same fabric
Did
as
you like that?
Age of Ultron, Captain America costume. So
Connected
it's
to What If,
like
which is
a
cool.
skin-fitting suit. It's very much like Captain America.
Production designer
sent an army of people out there and tied little wire blossoms onto about 6
my
trees.
gosh.
And then they added another so many thousand pounds, and then they got 8 trees, and then 10 trees, and we went out there, and they've shot this beautiful scene now, and no visual effects.
And you sealed.
can't tell that these are fabricated blossoms that have been tied on to these trees by hand.
You'd have no idea.
Sometimes people may get the impression that these films are almost entirely virtual. They're not. But in Kathmandu, we physically built all the interiors. They're walking around, whether it's corridors or the interiors of these temple rooms, we would build those in their entirety.
It's so intricate.
360 degrees.
Unbelievable.
Very crazy.
You know,
Most of
sets
these details
were
really don't matter though. You do it
Biolab
anyways.
And Doctor Strange and America are in these glass boxes, and they're trapped in there, and we couldn't even hear each other.
So they gave me this weird earpiece
TikTok.
because I'm in this glass box here, and I can't hear anything at all.
The sets are so elaborate and built out.
Charlie's vision is to create these wonderful sets which have got incredible detail on them.
We've got a great team of plasterers and painters and mould building, and there's all sorts of things we can do.
You've got these stone structures, you've got bronzes, you've got incredible carved timbers. So you go from the Camouflage, which is Nepalese, and then you've got the Sinister Sanctum.
I love what they say, like,
mansion,
in the Oscars, they'll be like, oh yeah, like Marvel movies, not a real movie, but it's like,
They say that?
like, they don't like it, like
They don't count it as an Oscar?
Who's that big fucking director?
Scorsese.
Scorsese, like, he
Sean
says, like,
Scorsese?
it shouldn't be considered for awards.
Really?
Tom Holland clapped back at that.
Really, eh?
Hey, look at this. Okay, I'm not saying, okay, like, it has to be the acting every time, but, like, look at the production. Like, you fucking kidding me right now? Like,
We're in New York City. We're not actually in New York. We're at Long Cross Studios in England, in the UK, and
That's England.
Marvel actually built the streets of New York. I mean, look at how amazing it is. It's like everything lights up, everything actually works.
It was originally going to be shot in Cleveland.
Cleveland?
has stood in for New York for the Avengers movies.
Cleveland's cheap as fuck.
And we were also.
I just never knew they would film that.
And then, of course, due to the COVID pandemic, traveling to Cleveland seemed like something that we weren't going to be able to do. Our executive producer, Jamie Christopher, who is a genius in movie making, who's been around for decades in this business.
I was like doubled up or something.
With the Sinister Sanctum, Charlie wanted to do something completely different. So he wanted to make it bigger, more unusual, more
Gives you a lot more appreciation
So
for the
as you
film.
open the front door,
Holy
you
crap,
into this black beach. Architecturally, but it could be.
I love this
elongated,
backdrop,
It could be
I remember.
expanded. It could be open. You could be open to the elements.
So it's really kind of our most abstract world. We try very hard to sort of make each experience, each place you go, something different. By the time we got to Mount Wundagore, we felt that this world should be much more primeval than anything else we would
It's like
do in the
Everest or
film.
something.
In the comics, Mount Wundagore is a castle-like structure in this snowy sort of mountain range. And we looked at a lot of stuff from Petra. We wanted to come up with something which was sort of carved from the mountain as such. We ended up finding this beautiful mountain range in the Dolomites in Italy. So that was our setting. Then we had a big conversation with the studio about how it should be adorned and all of the inscriptions and all of this language we see in the dark hold. So that was all built into the design of the walls of this temple.
To me, the sets are one of the most magical things that you get to see on these films because it's so world building. Mount Wundagore, I just thought they did such a beautiful job. I'm having them ship it overseas so that I can have it in my backyard.
Another area where we're really referencing the comics on this movie is for the spells. So there's all of these spells that Doctor Strange has, and we need to come up with new spells that haven't been seen somewhere else. Keeping it fresh is really important. The characters to be in the situation that they're in and have a spell from the Marvel history books.
It's true, the movie was very fresh, I would say.
Yeah.
Used a lot of
I'm mostly using the spell and hand gesture movements for Dr.
Magic
Strange.
choreographer.
I've also worked
Wow.
with video
Imagine how that all
or
goes.
game based on the work that I did in the previous commercial. I was doing tutting, which is a very niche dance
What the
style.
fuck?
It's like shapes with hands and
I
arms.
cannot do that with my
And
fingers.
well, you know, what can we do with that? So one of these moves, he's ripping open a bus, like kind of like dissecting it. And anytime something involves like levitation or a movement of matter, this is involved.
No
So if you
way.
see
This
him
is
flying,
crazy, yeah.
If he's flying with his cloak, he's also using these. So, but that's him. He's the matter.
Little do you know, you
The
never
rest of the
fucking
matter
notice
is
that.
connecting to it. and then he just swings it. In my head, as soon as he's dissected this thing, his energy's already connected to each and every piece. So you'll see like he chops one of the legs off as he's dissected it and he's still connected to it. You just pick one out and chop it. He doesn't have to do another spell or anything. He's already connected to it.
Wow.
The Infinite Doctor Stranges in the multiverse, we do get to meet a few in this movie.
It's got to play like multiple characters.
One is Defender Strange.
The first Strange that we meet, Defender Strange.
Oh, this guy got wrecked.
A little bit of a swashbuckle, a little bit of an adventurer.
Oh, that's one of the fabrics in the costume are like vintage fabrics from regions of Pakistan.
I think he was a little more of a fun-loving Patrick Swayze in Point Break.
Patrick Swayze in Point Break.
There, I had a ponytail.
You've got then the Strange in the universe with the Illuminati. He was Sorcerer Supreme in this universe.
Unfortunately, the only version of himself in that reality he needs to get to is a corpse, which does lead to very Evil Dead-ish,
That's
very
crazy.
Sam Raimi, hero Dead Strange.
When we pitched Dead Strange to Kevin, we made sure that we partnered it with an even stupider pitch. What if there was a blob version of Strange? Because we knew that that's how we're going to get a zombie Strange. There's a little bit of a learning curve, having to pilot a dead body.
I wanted that character to have conflict. What problems could a zombie Strange have? In my mind, he was doing something that was against the laws of the universe. That there could be demons that would try and stop him. But he is Doctor Strange. He's master of the mystic arts. Nobody, certainly not a bunch of spirits or demons, can stop him. So he takes these spirits and demons and weaves them together into a cloak of souls that he uses to propel him forward into his battle. Now he's the master.
Oh god, yeah. So good.
An evil
It's good,
full of evil magic. A vintage Oldsmobile that couldn't possibly pass a smog test. A handsome, dark-haired devil with a chin that could kill. If all of this sounds very familiar, then I'd say you have extremely good taste in movies.
It's gonna take more than killing me to kill me.
And for years,
She's hearing it.
with the studios, they said, you have to pick a lane. And they didn't understand Sam's genre bending, and they didn't understand the tone shifts and everything else. And that's something I really give Marvel credit for. You know, they got behind it. Played a lot more Sam's strengths. So over the course of the shooting, they kept adding more and more horror elements.
When Kevin Feige announced that he wanted to bring a little bit of a horror element to Doctor Strange, that was interesting to me. I love to dabble in horror. It's always been
Evil Dead, yeah.
This movie was so good.
I saw Evil Dead
Really
1 when it
gory.
came out.
God.
I just thought the movie was incredible.
Camera was
And
amazing.
Sam always has a lot of
There was
cool
Bruce
motifs
Campbell in
that,
it.
Yeah.
puts in his movie time and again. I
Got
mean,
that
he
one
trace
right.
all these things back.
Is that kind of weird that he's
There's
doing
a lot of the same people.
Think of
Evil Dead
that?
1.
I'm Bruce Campbell, and I'm playing the role of the pizza guy.
Oh yeah, he was in the movie.
We spoke with the head
Oh
of
my god, I thought he was just like in there for no fucking reason.
No.
and said that he couldn't do any Marvel without me, especially if Sam's directing.
It's always good to see those guys work together. You know, they have the kind of shorthand that only comes from like working together since you're 10 years old.
It's important for the editors to always have stuff to cut out. So that's what I'm providing, especially Academy Award.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, see, especially Academy Award winning editors, they love to play cutty cut cut. Oh, look at me cut. Look at me cut. Yeah, see, he's already doing it. I'm already
What a
cut
fucking
out.
goofball.
He was actually on the cutting room floor for a while, but we ended up putting him back in at the last minute.
Thanks for nothing. Unbelievable.
Bruce was almost like a prop for Sam. You know, he could tell Bruce to do anything. You know, Bruce, you know, throw yourself on the ground. Bruce, hit yourself over the head with a pan.
Yeah, I gotta go beat myself up some more. He might ask questions about motivation, so you better step up your game. I saw Sherlock Holmes. That boy can act. If he looks at me, I always never make eye contact. I always pretend like I'm looking at my script. I know all the tricks. Can I get you anything, Mr. Cumberbatch? And if he screws up a line, I own it.
We actually got a bloody ready crane and puppeteered it down the street in this kind of snowstorm.
And you get to see a few versions of the car.
Oh my
I really
god.
can't destroy that car because I
So
don't
clever.
appreciate Sam's infatuation with it. So he won't really let me near it because he knows I will silently slit the seats, and one day he might just wake up and it's gone. The amazing thing is, it's not even a fake version of the car. That's the car. It was actually the car that we drove in high school. And I know when you open the door and the key is in it, it goes. But I have to say, I hate it, but I love it. When I sit back in that car, you really do, honestly, not even exaggerating, you get a flood of memories that come back from that piece of crap.
It's always fun to work with Sam. He's really funny and entertaining, and you know, he's very serious about things, but at the same time, doesn't take things seriously.
Let's go. I really appreciate that, and I learned a lot from so many of you. Made some good friends, and I think the movie will be a lot of fun thanks to all your hard work and inventiveness and craftsmanship. Thank you very much. I salute all of you.
He's like the head honcho, right? Like the leader, you know?
It's a real honor to be in the family. So many talented people all working together to take people on this incredible journey.
It does feel like one of the biggest things Marvel's ever done.
It's pretty unfathomably exciting to be the test pilot for all things multiversal. You've got some amazing canvas of imagination to sort of bounce off ideas of what the human condition is and what the challenges that we all face are and what the best version of ourselves could possibly be.
Protecting America Chavez becomes not just about protecting his universe, but protecting his friend. He's capable of emotional growth in a way he was never able to demonstrate before.
With Chris.
What he comes to realize in that relationship is he has to empower her. He has to give up control himself. It's not about him.
Eventually have to do, which is take a look at our surroundings and how we treat one another and find something that is in front of us as opposed to what we are leaping different universes for.
Where does it leave the MCU? We've blown the lid on the multiverse now.
The multiverse is going to be so big in the future of the MCU, primarily because of the events of this movie. After Infinity War and Endgame, Doctor Strange was poised to be the chief protector of the MCU, but now in this movie, we see Doctor Strange become not just the protector of the MCU, but the protector of the multiverse within the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
What's compelling about where he's left is that third eye opens, and now there's this evil awakened within him. I think it begs the question, is what makes Doctor Strange happy? Could it possibly be not being a hero?
Marvel is always about finding the humanity within the icon, right? Finding the flaws beneath the cape or the mask or the armor, and learning about who the human is inside.
Oh my god, the post-credit scene. Yes.
Who knows where that could take us? Into the dark dimension and beyond, I don't know.
They just leave the door open for shit.
We're trying to give the audience a mind-expanding experience, something that makes them talk about the nature of reality in a fun way, and ask questions like great comic books or science fiction can do.
It's true. That's why I like the movie so much. Those are the themes I really enjoy.
I don't know about you, but being here today,
overlying
I had an epiphany of sorts. I realized that making a film is not unlike conjuring another facet of the multiverse. It's about creating an alternate reality from the ground up, where time and space can bend any which way according to the whims of those pulling the strings behind the scenes. I know that might sound a little lofty, but, well, I'm a lofty kind of guy. This is Bruce Campbell saying farewell until we meet again in the next dimension.
What a fucking goofball that guy is. What a fucking goof. That's it. Alright, so what do you guys think, though?
Yeah, it was good. I like how they showed like how they did the stunts, the interviews. We learned some things we didn't know about it. So
I definitely I definitely have a greater appreciation.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say. You have a greater appreciation for the movie.
Yeah.
After watching this, because in the end, it was a lot of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, and.
It's not only the actors, right? It's literally like
the whole.
But you don't see that, right?
No.
The actors, I feel like, do the least. In a way,
I mean,
compared to like what these guys are doing, like the actors can't do anything without them. Like that's the
but it's a mutual relationship, right? The actors.
It's like it's a team though.
They can't do anything with the actors, you know.
But just like like it's a team, but like the audience doesn't really see that.
It's like the unsung heroes, right?
Exactly.
That's like even the stunt people, they do a lot of the
everything. Yeah, like a lot of portions
stunts, editing, filming, like just everything, man.
I think the only thing that I kind of would have liked to see is John Krasinski. They never showed him.
Right?
Fuck,
like
man.
Patrick Stewart?
I know. Like, Patrick Stewart didn't even speak at all.
I forgot he was a Sir Patrick
They kind of brushed over that moment, huh? They kind of just like yeah, this is happening.
I guess like they weren't down. I guess like the
problem.
John. I mean, John was probably on set for 2 days.
Probably had busy schedules. Or whatnot,
but it was nice though. We got to see a lot of like. Didn't see as much as Benedict as I thought. Like it was very little.
That's
it was
fine.
very little.
I enjoyed what they did show, and it was good.
It was even. I think they focus on the crew though, right?
Yeah, of course, which I like that because that's at the end of the day that's kind of what I think is what they should focus on.
I mean,
is the crew
behind the scenes, right? Behind the screen, right?
I always appreciate an actor or an actress when they can hide their accent.
Yes, and he does that. He does that
very
really
incredible,
well.
very incredible, and keep it consistent too.
Yeah.
You I didn't know he was British for years. Like.
Oh, you did?
Not for years. Like you just kind of like you think like this is how he talked.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing actually I thought of it because you were talking about him, the fucking magic choreography. I
oh
did
my
not
god,
know about
that was fun.
That was incredible, dude.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like
imagine just being like going out and like freelancer and you're just like, yeah, I'm a magic choreographer.
But like, you know how crazy how
what's on your resume?
You know how crazy how unnecessary that is to do that.
But
they do it anyways.
Like
that's what I think.
Like, man, I could be like, yo, do this, yo, do this.
He's like, yo, as he does this, like it's a part of levitating. He goes like,
it's like 45% bullshit. 65, you know, it's
for me, just like mine. Literally looking at that.
I really enjoyed this. It was a good eye-opening experience. Yeah. It's easy to jump the bandwagon and hate on a movie. I think as a purely Marvel movie, like people like to think I think it just depends on what expectations you went in with.
Yeah.
Like for example, if you just go into the movie like wanting something fresh, wanting something new, this is like definitely a movie.
I mean, it is. Yeah. It doesn't feel like Doctor Strange.
I think it's unfair to call say this movie's bad. That's what I.
No, it's not. It's
definitely not.
And people were thinking it was going to be the best.
Like you could say it's not your favorite Marvel movie, or like it's not like the best MC movie, which is fair. Like that's completely fair, right? Like some movies don't compare. Yeah, some movies don't compare to others, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's fair to say this movie is a bad production.
I think it's definitely on one of the better ones for sure.
Yes,
I think so. Not the best though.
Yes.
Not the best. I think that's worth noting. Yeah, they did a great job. Sam Raimi. You really start to see how intricate he is. Like we know what he's done, but like while actually seeing him go through the process of it, it was pretty cool.
Yes.
For sure as well. So before the camera dies, I want to kind of wrap it up here, guys. If you enjoyed the reaction here today, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that post notification bell down below as well. The Miss Marvel one should be coming out in a couple weeks, so I'll probably do that as well. So stay tuned for that. But any last words, guys?
That's it. That's it for me.
Just great film. Great film. And great behind the scenes.
Fantastic.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching our reaction. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.